All right, guys. So yesterday we began talking about tally charts and bar graphs, and we created and read a couple different tally charts and bar graphs. And at the end of our assignment yesterday, you guys had to take a quick survey and vote for your favorite pet. Now, we're going to take that data, that information, and create our own tally chart and bar graph on the computer. So our goal for today is I can create a tally chart and a bar graph to interpret the data about our favorite pet. So I want to show you how we can do that on the computer. And I have a different set of data. This data is all about favorite drinks. And I'm going to use this information to show that data. So we are going to create a tally chart, and I have the directions right here on the left side that tells you how to create a tally chart. And you're going to go to the insert button, and then you're going to click table. Now, I will say that this is kind of silly because we are doing a chart, but this isn't the chart that we want. So we're going to do a table, and we're going to insert a 2 by, we're going to do a 5, because we had 4 things that we were trying to figure out how many people liked them. And my table's too big, so I gotta grab the corner and shrink it so that it'll fit on my whiteboard here. And then I'm just gonna drag it and kind of put it right in the middle so that we can see it. Now, part of the tally chart that we need to do is we need to have our headings. And so we're going to create the labels. On the left side, we're going to create what we're measuring. So we're measuring favorite drinks. So I'm just going to put drinks here. And then on the left side, we're measuring the number of students that had those as favorite drinks. Underneath the drinks, we're going to name each of the 4 different drinks that we used in the poll. And so they were milk, lemonade, water, and juice. Then I want to create tally marks for the number of students that actually liked that type of drink. And for milk, there were 6 students that liked milk. So I need to make my tally marks for milk. Now, it is difficult to make tally marks, so I have created tally marks at the bottom of 5 that you can drag up into your graphic organizer to your chart. And so I have 5 there, and then I still need to have 1 more. So I'm going to have to move my cursor down. So I'm going to hit my space bar till it's on the other side of my tallies, and I'm just going to hit 1 more, or hit the letter I, capital I. So then I have my 5, and then I have 1 more. So then I'm going to look at lemonade, and lemonade had 5 people. So I'm just going to drag one of my tally marks from down at the bottom up here for 5. Water, 7 people liked it, so I'm going to drag my 7 up, or 5 up, and then again I'm going to have to space over and add 2 more capital I's. So I have 5 and then 2 more to make 7. And finally, my juice, there were 9 people that liked it. So I'm going to drag another set of 5 and then add my capital I's. So I'm going to space over and then do 4 more capital I's to make 9. Now that I have my tally chart, I can use the data to create a bar graph. So on the next slide, you're going to follow the directions here. and you're going to create the bar graph. And first thing is to go to insert, and then I'm going to hit charts. And when I pop up the charts, I'm going to hit the column one. I know it says bar here, but we want ours to go vertical and not horizontal. So it's going to pop up your chart in the middle, but we really need to edit. So we got to hit this fast, edit in sheets, because that disappears pretty quickly. And what it's going to do is open up your Google Sheets so that you are able to put in the data, and then it automatically creates your bar graph. So as it's loading in, it's taking this information. So the bar graph that it's creating has information about teams and I think how many runs they scored. And so as it's still working, unfortunately, it does this weird thing where it moves you down. And so you can't see the data anymore. You're going to have to see that data because that's where we have to change ours. So you're going to have to scroll back up so that you can see the one and you can see these numbers. Once it stops working, you're going to be able to move your bar graph over so that you can see your charts. You can put in your information. So I'm going to click on it and then just drag it over like this. Now, this bar graph has two sets of bars, and I don't need that. So I'm going to get rid of this period 2, and I'm just going to highlight all of those things and say backspace. And once I do that, it gets rid of that second bar. Now, this was measuring the points scored, and it was talking about for period 1. Now, we're not talking about period 1. We're going to be measuring the number of students. So I'm going to delete where it says period 1 and put number of students. Now, we didn't have 24, 36, or 12, or 38. So I'm going to delete all of those, and it takes away the data. It's fine. We'll get back to that. Instead of having teams, we had drinks. So I'm going to replace teams with the drinks. So I'm going to say milk, lemonade, water, and juice. And then I'm going to put in my number, and the graph will automatically start building. So milk, there were 6. Lemonade, there were 5. Water had 7. And juice had 9. Now, once your graph is filled in, you'll see what happens. Your names appear at the bottom. The blue tells you it's the number of students. Each line isn't 2. The scale interval is different, or each line isn't 1. The scale interval is different. It is 2. So each line means there are 2, and then in the middle would be just 1. So this would go 4, 5, and then 6, so that we know lemonade is between 4 and 6, so it is 5. Now, once you have your graph created in your Google Sheets, you're going to go back to your slide, and you're going to update it. So this little button comes in and says update. You're going to click it, and it'll change it to your data. I want to change this name not to be points scored, so I'm going to delete it over here. So I don't want it to say points scored. I want it to say favorite drinks, because that's the title of my bar graph. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to re-update it. And my bar graph is now complete. I need to make it smaller so that it'll fit on my page. So I'm going to drag the corners. Still a little bit too big. And so I'm going to drag it and see if I can get it still a little bit big. I'm going to see if I can maybe move my title up a little bit so that we can see it. And now we have our bar graph. You guys are going to go through the same steps and create it for our favorite pets. This is the information that you guys gave me when you filled out the survey. You're going to follow the steps to create the tally chart, then follow the steps to create the bar graph, and you'll submit that into me in Canvas. After you do that, you have an IXL to work on. I want you to get at least 80, so that means you need to log in using your username in @Perry Township. And then you are going to play either the number grid difference game or the number grid game. Remember, you'll need to log in by going to McGraw-Hill and link the McGraw-Hill link on the Perry page. If you have any questions, please send me an email. I know this is all new, using the computer to create our bar graphs, but I'm going to go over it again in our small groups, and we will get everything completed.